Good evening, everybody. Here we are again, Thursday night. This is the 22nd of February. Wanted to touch on something that actually happened today. It's kind of timely. I'm a little late to the game tonight. I know I've been a little bit tied up. And I want to talk about the outage for the AT&T cell phone servers. If you have that as a server, which I actually do, and if you haven't figured, if you don't know this by now, that was out a good part of the day. I guess it started sometime early in the morning, around 4 a.m., I believe. And I think my service came back around, I'm going to say 1:30, something like that. But I'm not exactly sure. I was actually working at the time, so it came back on while I was working. But it's somewhere roughly in that area. So how I actually discovered when I was out this morning is I noticed nothing was working originally in the phone, so I thought maybe it was just something. I thought originally it was something with my phone, and I'm just going to preface this to kind of explain how it came about with some of the stuff I saw and where this is going. This is a little bit about this outage thing, but also some implications of this and some indications of things that could happen down the road is why I wanted to touch on this. So, and I apologize for the lighting. I'm down in my workshop again, and it's not real great lighting here, but nobody really needs to see my face anyway. It's more about the message. But so this morning, where I kind of got lucky is I also have a work phone that's on Verizon. So when I started to notice things were going, I actually Googled that and I found the outage, that there was an outage with AT&T. And there's, to my knowledge, I don't believe there's been an explanation. If there was, I missed it. But from what I can gather, was some kind of a cyber attack. So I don't know if that's actually been confirmed or where it originated, things like that. But what I really wanted to touch on was, we could have it, we could have an outage like this for just about anything. It could be, honestly, it could be weather related when we have an outage. But the thing that kind of caught my attention most this morning was, I went onto a few of the different websites, and I even some of them were like CNN, I think the New York Post, I believe Fox News. Everybody was kind of covering it. But what I wanted to do is I dove into the comments, and which is really probably the reason I'm making this video. I'm not bringing you any real breaking news with this. But why I wanted to touch on this was because of the reactions of people. Now, I'm reading these comments at 7:30, roughly around 7:30 in the morning. This outage had only been going on for a few hours. And the panic on some of these websites, the sheer, it was unbelievable. Which is what I got to thinking. I actually saw comments where people were saying they were going to sue AT&T, and they were switching their carriers, and oh my God, I seen people in capital letters, AT&T fix this now, and it was amazing to me. Because this is only a couple of hours in. And which is why what really got me thinking about it was, we're only 3 hours into a cell phone carrier being down. And apparently it wasn't even everybody on AT&T. But what it made me think about is, and as, if you're in the preparedness community or prepper, whatever, I'm sure you've thought about these things, but for you you guys that maybe just kind of coming into this and maybe, not following things like that, this is a good indication of what people are going to be like in a long-term situation when it's a real emergency. Because if they're losing their minds over their cell phone not working for a couple hours, and, they're missing their, what their friend had for breakfast on Facebook, or, the latest whatever on whatevergram, whatever it is, what are they going to do if the grocery stores are down for 3 days, or the power grid actually goes down, and there's no prospect of coming back up? I know we've all experienced power outages. For the most part, it could be like during a storm, but you can call your local power company or get on their website, and it'll kind of tell you some status, and hey, we're working on it. We're in your neighborhood. And typically they're back on within, a short amount of time, unless there's something more. Like I said, if you follow my channel, you'll know last year we were down for, I believe it was 10 or 11 days now. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was like 10 or 11 days we went without power. Now, we didn't panic at all. Honestly, by the end of the week, we were almost adjusted to it. With a few little tweaks, we probably could have gone for an indefinite amount of time. I mean, I really believe that, because um, we had a lot of systems in place beforehand. We had things on hand. We kept our generator going. I never had to make a trip to the gas station. I had gas on hand. We never went to the grocery store. We had food here. Backup, like I said, the backup generator. I had backup ways to cook. Even get showers. I mean, I even had devised a system of, like I said, you can go back and check out that video and give you some ideas. But it really got me to thinking, like, what is, if people are freaking out over a short term cell phone outage, what is it going to be like if there's a real disaster? If we think a cell phone being down is going to cause panic something major, I can't even fathom what these people are going to do. I mean, I didn't even bat an eyelash this morning. I just laughed it off and kept on going. I mean, yeah, I mean, I obviously I couldn't communicate with people, and I was out of the loop or a little, with anybody really. I mean, I really didn't, but life didn't end, and it went on, and I was able to go about my day and do all that stuff. Now, that was a minor one. It was back on in a few hours. I did have a backup phone if I really needed to contact somebody. I don't typically use my work phone for personal use, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But watching these people lose their minds really got me to thinking, like, back to the preparedness. You really got to be ready, because if there's what if word had got out that Walmart wasn't going to be supplied with things, their local Walmart, for 2 days, and word got out of this, it would be complete pandemonium, and you do not want to be a part of that. So that's why, like, I encourage you to get those basic staples, if nothing else, because I know, not everybody's probably stocked up like they probably should be, and I'm probably included in that. I mean, it's hard to tell. I may think I'm a lot better off than I am, but I mean, just for the systems that I have in place and for the things that we've gone through, like the test runs that we've kind of had with the power outage, I'm pretty confident we could get by for a decent amount of time. But it's really something to think about. If you don't really have, get at least those basic things you need. You don't want to be a part of that pandemonium, because, like I said, if like, God forbid, the local grocery store started running out, things like that, the bus lines weren't moving, obviously just the cell phones going down, let alone people's internet service, and God forbid if people can't check their Facebook status, my Lord, I was waiting to see those videos of people leaping out of buildings today because, they couldn't see what was on TikTok or Twitter this morning. So anyway, just kind of something to think about. I don't want to make this video too long, but it really did kind of make me think a little bit about how people are going to panic, how they're going to go crazy if even just basic systems go down, let alone if something major goes down. You're not going to want to be going into Walmart or your local grocery store if people know that there's nothing coming there for a few days. So, it all goes back to the preparedness aspect. That, it's not always about, the end of the world or, whatever. It could be something as simple as that, and it could be localized. That doesn't even have to be a national disaster. It could be just your local area. Maybe you're hit by whatever, it's, a storm or natural disaster, depending on where you're at. So definitely, once again, that's what this is about, and it's about getting prepared. Getting the things you need ahead of time, so you don't get stuck in those things. And another thing that I've really tried to kind of concentrate on, and I'm not saying don't use your phone or anything like that. I'm not doing that. But maybe try to, adjust yourself that you're not as reliant on things, like the basic things. I mean, like, I got to thinking today, like, I had no service on my phone. I couldn't do nothing. If I needed the GPS, now I knew where I was going all day, but I would be down. How many of you even have a paper map in your car or an atlas with the local thing? If you were 200 miles from home trying to get home and your phone system went down and you have no way to access your GPS, do you have a way to get home? Do you know the trip well enough? Something to think about, getting back to basics a little bit, not being so reliant on your phone for everything, or maybe at least have backup systems in place for that. Even if you set up with your spouse or your kids, maybe they need to contact you. Maybe you have to come up with some alternatives. Like, if maybe if you do check in with your kids, especially if you have young children, or maybe even high school age children that you want to check in after work and they're not able to, have a backup system for that. Do they have your number at work, or do they have somebody that they can contact to let know that everything is okay? Maybe maybe you have a chain of command like that. If once they get a hold of you, or maybe the neighbor, do they have a way to, to be safe, to let you know that they're okay, or at least have somebody that if they don't hear from you can check on them and make sure everything's good. So there's a lot of really, little things that you might want to think about like that. So definitely keep it in mind. And like I said, we don't. Part of the thing of being prepared is so we don't panic. It's okay to be concerned when things happen, but we don't want to panic, and that's why by having your systems, it's like I always say, it's not always about having a basement full of canned goods and ammo. Basic preparedness can be, as simple as having an extra gas can in your garage for your generator if the power goes out, or, having a system for your kids, when they get home from school, if knowing if you're not there, that there's a protocol that they follow, or, you know, if God forbid there's a fire in your house, so you have a plan ahead of time for where you guys all meet, and they have a plan ahead of time of how to get out. It can just go down the line. Like I said, it's not always about buying things and stocking things. There's a lot of basic things you can do. So kind of think about those things. But like I said, just know that people will lose their minds in an emergency, and I really saw that this morning. So hey, thanks for coming by. I will see you guys. If you like, please like this video. If you like it, if you want to share it with somebody, I appreciate it. And if you're first time here, thanks for stopping by. If you've been coming back and watching my videos, I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. Be safe and God bless.